Well, hey everybody, happy holidays. Steve Campbell here with Kevin McCarter. We are excited to be back with you on our YouTube channel, talking to you about your benefits, your retirement. We had recently released a blog article which we highlighted 10 things that you can address before year end. Whether you've read that article or not, today we wanted to take some time to maybe highlight a few in particular that we really want to make sure you're paying attention to. So, as always, Kevin, being a financial planner, working with clients, working with retirement plan participants, what are the few key ones that we really want to highlight in this video today?
So the ones that really spoke to me as I was reading through the article, there was a couple of different items there, and all of them were, or most of them was really in regards to like your retirement accounts and saving money and such. And the two that I thought were a little bit of a different track that really spoke to me. First one was assessing your goals, and the second one is reviewing your taxes. And so they're a little bit different conversations than we normally have on these calls. But I want to go ahead and talk to you guys about these 2 points because they're pretty interesting points. And in regards to assessing your goals, normally when people talk about assessing their goals in regards to retirement accounts and such, are like, how much do you want to, or when do you want to retire? When do you want to do this? How much do you need to have saved? And those are all really important goals. Those are more long-term goals, but the article is talking about like things to do in the transition from 2023 to 2024. And so I want to talk about more short-term goals actually on this one. And short-term goals meaning like, how are we going to be more intentional in 2024 than we were in 2023 with our spending? And not spending as in like spending $10 on a cup of coffee and things like that and tracking it down to every last dollar. Not that, but more of trying to avoid the unexpected. And what I
Yep.
mean by that is, Christmas, it's a holiday season right now. Christmas comes every year. How are you going to be intentional about saving for Christmas this next year? My wife and mine's anniversary is January 19th. It's coming up here right around the corner. How am I going to be more intentional for our anniversary, our kids' birthdays? How am I going to be more intentional for our kids' birthdays? Because each one of these holidays, it has a cost component to it.
Yep.
And we could let that be a surprise in our budget, or it could be a thing that we've worked towards all year and saved for, and we know it's coming up, and we know how much we need to have saved for it. It's a whole different feeling whenever you're paying for your kid's birthday, or renting the back room of a place, or buying the food or something like that. Whenever you're putting it on your credit card because you don't have the money for it, or whenever you're pulling it from savings because you've intentionally saved for it, it's an entirely different feeling, right? And so I want to talk about assessing our goals in the sense of like you and your wife or you and your husband, like sit down and talk about what are the big things that you know are going to come this next year. And what could you do very intentionally to make sure whenever those seasons of life come, it's the most enjoyable season of life possible? And a good
Yep.
example of this is, sorry, Steve, I know you're about to chime in here. I'll say one last thing here, just to give an example of this. Anniversaries, right? I'll talk about mine and my wife's anniversary coming up here, January 19th. Let's just say, hypothetically, we set a budget for ourselves of $260, right? It's not a surprise. Here at Seed, Sweet K and such, we get paid bi-weekly. So I got 26 paychecks, right? Saving up for our anniversary, that's $10 a paycheck. Means that we fully funded our anniversary goal. And now for Christmas, say you want to have an $800 Christmas budget for you and your spouse and all the kids and such, whatever odd amount, right? You can calculate it. How many paychecks do you get? How much do you need to save each paycheck to make sure that come Christmas time, it's not like, oh man, we got to pull money from somewhere or put money on the credit card. Now we have a pot of money stashed away for this goal we're trying to achieve. And Steve, I'll let you chime in here.
Yeah, I think that's really good, Kevin, because whether you're married, whether you're single, making financial decisions with somebody else or on your own, having these long term goals, to give you a little precursor of some of the content coming out in 2024, we have an article ready to go about what happens if you received a pay increase heading into the new year. If you have competing agendas, you now have a little bit more money each month. How should you be allocating that money? And I think that's a big question that a lot of people planning for their retirement or just financial independence down the road are really always trying to figure out what's right for them. If I get an enhancement in money each month, should I put it towards savings goals? Should I put it towards an investment? Should I be looking to pay down debt? And I think what you're talking about is these aren't surprises. Holidays come each year, birthdays, anniversaries. How can we move in 2024 to being into a better position of being more in control what's happening with our finances rather than almost always reacting to everything. We're being
Yeah.
extremely proactive. And now's a great time, whether you've gone through the holiday craziness and realize you weren't as prepared as you wanted to be and you're buying things last minute, whether it's from savings, whether you took out a credit card to do it. How can we avoid this next year and create habits or disciplines for being more prepared for the big things that we know are going to be coming our way?
Yeah. And part of the big things coming our way is that tax time comes the same time every year. Sometimes we get a refund, sometimes we owe, depending on how things play out, depending on your circumstances there. But again, you're like, it's not a surprise, your taxes. Like literally, the math is out there for your taxes that you can literally calculate how much you're going to owe and how much you can expect, either in a refund or you have to write a check for. And so this gets into like, it's the end of the year. You have your year's worth of income data. And income data for 85, 90% of people, it's very, very simple, their income, trying to calculate this. It's literally, you can pull it from your pay stubs. How much did you get paid this year? Right. And then what deductions got pulled out of your paycheck that are pre-tax deductions, usually like health insurance or dental insurance, or if you contribute to your 401k pre-tax, uh, what deductions do you have out of your paycheck? And you can literally just subtract those and you can get down to basically like almost like a mock tax return. You start doing the math of this mock tax return, and it could be in a very simple Excel spreadsheet, and you can actually calculate how much are you going to owe in your taxes and how much have you withheld? Have you under withheld? Have you over withheld? Or you can get a refund of the difference. And once you know that you're going to get $1,000 refund, again, talking about being intentional, assessing your goals, what are you going to do with it?
Yep.
Right? Are you going to put that towards next year's Christmas fund and let that be next year's Christmas budget? Or are you going to pay down a credit card? Are you going to do like the short term stuff? You're like, these things are not surprises. The math is out there for us to calculate our own taxes, and it's not complex. And it's actually sort of neat. We have a cheat sheet to do it with. We have last year's tax return where we can literally take our numbers and say, this is where this number came from. Does this number make sense? The one I calculated, yes or no? Okay, cool. Let's move on to the next number. Does this make sense? Build the flow of this and become educated about your tax situation so that tax time isn't a surprise. It's not a surprise you get a $500 refund, or it's not a surprise you owe $2,000 and have to go get a personal loan to pay for it. It's not a surprise. You should know what these things are. And this all comes down to being intentional with the year, being
Mm-hmm.
intentional with how you're withholding from your paycheck, how you're saving from your paycheck for your goals, right? 2024, like let this be the year where you are fully aware, fully abreast of every expense that's going to be coming up, everything you know that's going to happen. And it's not Steve, I love how you put it, a reactionary thing. It's a proactive thing you're doing this year.